Good evening and welcome to the Moscow Board of Adjustments meeting for Wednesday, February 15th to review the relevant criteria and standards from the previous meeting.
And approve the minutes?
Yes, and approval of minutes. So,
Approval of the minutes for the February 7th, 2017 meeting.
okay. Anybody catch any Scribners before we get a
Yeah.
second and approve it?
Carrie Morsek's name is spelled wrong.
Well, she was signing it, so I have to guess.
Okay. Morsek.
I guess that move approval as amended.
Oh, fair enough.
Is Carrie correct?
Kerry.
Okay, we have a motion to approve minutes with the amendment for the spelling. Do we have a second?
Sure.
Have a first.
For the record, there were some corrections I already made because we were all so busy. It wasn't reviewed as quickly as I liked.
Oh, okay.
I made nothing substantial or substantive, but just grammatical stuff that I think is big. So,
You mean since you sent them out to us?
since I said them out, yeah.
I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions? None. So it passes with 5 ayes. 0 noes and 0 abstentions. All right, that brings us to our approval of relevant criterion standards for conditional use permit LUP 2016-0022. Comments? No comments?
No comments.
Therefore, do I have a motion to approve them as,
I'd move approval of the relevant criteria and standards for the conditional use permit LUP 2016-0022.
per city staffs?
Pardon me?
Per city
Per
staffs,
city
right?
staff, yeah.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Abstain?
Yep.
Abstention or a no? You were
I
here.
abstain. I would participate in the decision.
Oh, that's right. I apologize. You were not in
Yeah.
on the first one. So that is approved with 4 ayes and 1 abstention. All right. That brings us to the second relevant criterion standards for conditional use permit application LUP 2017-0001. Comments?
I have one recommended change and then one potentially recommended change. The first is in paragraph 9, the second sentence. This is in the relevant facts and conclusions. The second sentence that just begins as described, and then the following sentence, which begins neither and ends in motor fuels. I think those two sentences should be moved up to a separate paragraph 5. So there'd be a new paragraph 5 that says, as described by the applicant in the CUP application, the proposed use would be a typical auto repair shop doing routine maintenance and repair of light-duty trucks, SUVs, etc. Neither in the written record before the board nor in the applicant's testimony before the board was evidence presented that the applicant would engage in the sale of gasoline or other motor fuels. So I think that that's just an independent factual determination that warrants its own paragraph. Not changing the language, just moving it to a
Right,
separate
just
paragraph.
moving
Yeah,
it.
just a moving of an organizational change.
Yeah. And then the other one is current paragraph 5, what would become paragraph 6. And I don't feel strongly about this, but staff's interpretation of this code is not really a relevant fact or conclusion. Right? So the relevant facts and conclusions are our understanding of the facts, the facts that we found, and our conclusions. So that's part of the record, obviously, but it's not a it's not a relevant fact to our decision. So it doesn't need to be there. I'm not objecting to it, but I think it's not properly that part of the facts and conclusions.
So you think item 5 should be struck or reworded?
The language from item 9, the second, third, is it just the second and third sentences, should be moved up
Yeah,
following paragraph 4 to constitute a new paragraph 5.
correct.
And then current paragraph 5 would be renumbered as paragraph 6, and then others adjusted to follow that.
Yeah,
Other
that was
numbering
my
adjusted.
that was my first point.
Right.
The second point is that I don't think current paragraph 5 really belongs. We could amend it to just be the definition of gasoline service station, but staff's interpretation, I mean, they present us their interpretation in the record, but this document is our interpretation of the code, and the facts that we find, that's the purpose of this. As I said, I'm not.
I see where you're going with that, because staff's interpretation is that it fit within that, and our big issue
Is that it-
was
we
that
said
we couldn't say, we disagreed.
So the rewording I would propose would be gasoline station is defined by MCC 411-9B46 as, and then take out which is, comma, any area of land, and the rest of it's fine.
I think so. So that'd be, yeah, that's roughly what I'm saying. And so both of those are just suggestions too. Did you catch that, Ann?
Yeah, would you be eliminating that first line about staff's interpretation, or just starting with just by definition of that?
I would even start it as, take out the whole line and start with the words, open quotes, gasoline station is defined by MCC 46. And then, I can't see, is there a comma after 46 or not?
No.
Okay. Anyhow, strike which is, comma, and put as in place of that. And then we have a complete sentence. I love complete sentences.
Any other suggestions?
Oh, those are the two I had.
Comments?
So move approval as amended, unless anybody else, I'll hold off on that. Okay, move approval as just amended.
Second.
Got a first, got a second?
Now, is this, question,
Yes?
is this just on the relevant facts and conclusions? This isn't on the relevant criteria and standards?
Yeah, it's just facts.
That's
and
my
conclusions.
understanding, yes.
Okay.
I wrote, but I had some edits to it, but I decided not
Okay,
to.
so I have
think
a
they're
motion
fine.
and a second on the edited version of relevant facts and conclusions. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved with 5 yeses and 0 nos, 0 abstentions. Okay, now to the relevant criteria and standards.
Oh, you're just approving it separately?
Apparently, we just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but we did.
I think
on one way on
One way or the other. Gotcha.
I think-
the other way on the other one.
I
Gotcha.
think one reason we're doing it like this is because this triggers a renumbering of everything after current paragraph 4.
Well, in the relevant facts and conclusions.
In the relevant facts,
Yeah.
the whole, every section renumbers now.
Yeah, but
But it's all in documents.
Yes.
yeah, I don't think we had to do it that way, but that was how it was stated.
The motion was just for the,
No, well, that was how it was understood, and I'm fine with that. It was intended to be the whole document,
Oh,
but that's fine. So then move approval of the relevant criteria and standards as provided in this document. If the chair is willing to accept the motion.
second.
We'll have a motion and a second. Before I take a vote, I would like to invite discussion.
Certainly.
And then potentially have an amended
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Marshall.
this was a tough one because I can see Jerry's point, and then you know how I stood with supporting staff interpretation of it. And I think it's something that we really need, or the city really needs to go back, the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council really needs to go back and look at the definition of this and really figure out what they want to do with it. Because when we typically think of what a gasoline service station was, well, in the past, a gasoline service station changed tires and changed oil and put mufflers on and did all kinds of stuff. Now, a gasoline service station is a mini-mart. So I really think that as a strong suggestion that we ask the City Council to send it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission and really figure out what they want it to say and clarify the language.
Excuse me, it meaning the definition of gasoline service station, or?
Correct.
Mr. Comstock? Just for the record, there has been discussion of updating the overall use table, which includes the definitions of many of these outdated or archaic terminology within our code book. And it was actually through the discussions of planning and zoning in December of this year, they've actually been in talks with that. Legal has been reviewing that and going through the definitions. So it's still in the process. The likelihood of having a further definition, it will be coming down the line after their review and then reviewed at the Planning and Zoning Commissions as well. So it is in the works. Unfortunately, it was a matter of timing when this came through versus when the actual approval of those terms came through. So.
And one of the reasons that I say this too, when you look at other conditional uses that are able to go in this zoning district, one of them is auto sales. And auto sales typically have repair shops associated with them.
Yeah.
And so you're going to allow auto sales, but yeah, we're not going to allow this. So I think it needs to be looked at.
I agree, and I think that's one of the reasons why we did this the way we did, so that because I want to say we were all pretty confident that 2 through 7 would have been okay, and by doing what we're doing, it forced this back to the city, where the applicant who is here could appeal it and write to the body that was making the interpretation that we disagreed with. So,
of course, that doesn't allow. It's a record appeal. The applicant wouldn't have any capacity to argue anything on that appeal.
Correct.
It should note, though, all we're doing here is putting the decision we already made on paper, right? So I think it does accurately reflect why we made the decision. You disagreed at the time, but it does accurately reflect I think what we said in the hearing. It certainly accurately reflects what I thought we said.
I don't have an issue with the way it's written. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there anybody that wants to, well, rather than try to amend the motion and the second, I would like to just take a vote on the motion and the second as originally stated.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. So it passes as stated with 4 yeses and 1 no and 0 abstentions.
So Ryan, to be clear, is this one of the specific definitions is being reconsidered by P&Z? Or just are they reconsidering the entire code? And it's possible this could be reconsidered.
There is a possibility of filing for a new conditional use permit upon the review and approval from the city attorney in regards to those terminologies. I would encourage all of you, if you're interested, to look at the packet that was submitted for planning and zoning for December. They have not only for central business and the defining of what a repair service station would entail. And to answer your question, yes, it does specifically go into details on that for a conditional use, but there's many other uses within that particular table.
Well, we can't reconsider this same proposal until there's a change in an actual change in the code definition.
Correct.
Whatever city attorney says.
Correct.
Okay.
So. But yes, to answer your question, there is new definitions in regards to this overall scope of services.
Okay. Because Rod disagrees, but we just decided what gasoline service station means in our code. Right. Okay.
All right, any further board communications?
None at this time.
With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? To adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. We're done.